Hello and welcome back to the Ghost of Alcantra. We now have 2 murder victims in each of our timelines, despite Victor's best effort. Nick has been doing rather well. I don't know how long that... I kind of suspect things will go downhill for him at some point as well, but let's see. June 28th, 1987. The next day I pulled Uncle Kyle aside at the house and told him what I had learned from Elder Weatherton, as well as what Alexandria had told me. I tried to pass off Alexandria's info as just keen insight from a chance meeting with Vlad. The story I concocted was that she met him downtown and they struck up a conversation.
Yeah, I've heard about those rumors since I grew up in Alcantra. Unfortunately, that was 18 years ago, and it won't be easy to find any evidence. But that would certainly be a secret worth hiding.
Were you able to get any info from the staff? Uncle Kyle shook his head dejectedly.
Not much. The older staff are extremely loyal, and the younger staff don't seem to know anything. Of course, Alga and Vlad didn't say anything helpful. I was able to get a little info on Marina Radek. I didn't get any specific details, but one of the cooks let slip that Alga was extremely fond of Marina.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm taking extremely fond to mean, rather tight interpersonally. I'm guessing that's why she left. Yena didn't want her around after she found out.
I brought up what Elder Weatherton had told me about Marina, how her case was kind of unusual for a Thorn staff member. The details made sense if she was Alga's mistress.
I'll have to look into getting concrete evidence of that possible connection. It's going to be difficult to make an arrest given how many of the cops here might be under the Thorn payroll.
Should you be telling me this? Uncle Kyle thought about it.
No.
He scratched his head awkwardly.
But here's one last thing. Marina Radek had a lot of money. Much more money than someone who ran a bakery probably should have. She made lots of deposits, and the amounts were high enough that my guess is that the money had to have come from the Thorns. There's pretty much no doubt that she knew something the Thorns didn't want to get out. It's just a matter of getting enough evidence that even the Thorns can't buy their way out of this.
Don't worry, I'll keep quiet.
Glad to hear it.
He patted me on the shoulder.
Tell Alexandria I appreciate her input.
I will. She has a big ego, so she'll be glad to hear that. Uncle Kyle smiled and began to head out. He turned back to me from the doorway.
Hey though, be careful out there. I don't think the murderer would be after someone like you, but it's best to be a little cautious. Someone who has killed is still out there.
Don't worry, I'm staying out of trouble.
Are you?
Which wasn't exactly true. Oh boy. Do we think that Marina might be Alexandria's mother? I don't know. I spent the next week cycling between meeting Alexandria and my friends. The town had been pretty rattled the first couple of days after Beryl Johnson's death, but things were returning to normal. Alexandria and I mostly hung out around Alcantra together, but we still talked about the investigation some. Alexandria's new theory was that Vlad was plotting the downfall of the Thorn family. Okay, so maybe Vlad isn't framing my father, but he's trying to take down the family. Why wouldn't he just spill the family secrets then? Because he's a drama queen.
You're being serious right now?
Dead serious. I gave her a look. She ignored my skepticism and continued. You wouldn't get it since you don't know Vlad, but he's certainly the murderer. His behavior around the mansion has been reprehensible.
Couldn't he just be being a jerk right now?
He's always a jerk, but this jerkdom is different. He's on edge right now. She brushed her hair back dramatically. You should appreciate all I go through to hang out with you. I didn't know what that had to do with anything.
Do you always need to be so over the top?
I'm not being over the top. I'm being perfectly beneath the top.
She made some dramatic gestures I couldn't interpret. She liked doing those.
I've traded the future for the now. Can't you make yourself useful and whisk me away somewhere?
I really don't think you think of me as the whisking away type.
That's not true. I put a lot of expectations on you.
Tell me about it.
Yep, better get used to it.
I sighed. Yes, ma'am. The peaceful days continued. A couple of days later, Warburton asked me to hang out. We met at his place. Hey man, I got a favor to ask you. This better not be about Jenny. He waved his hand dismissively. No, this is much more serious. It's about the upcoming game against Hamatra in Yupa Ball. In what? I rolled my eyes. Hamatra is the town across the bridge from us. You can think of them as Alcantra's rivals. We're about the same size and our high school teams compete in sports. Given it was summer and there weren't any official competitions going on, some idiots like Warburton organized unofficial sporting outings to keep the competitive fire going all year long. Yuba Ball is basically a game of rugby and a game of capture the flag played at the same time. Sounds chaotic. Some kids made up the game that would become Yuba Ball, and it stuck as a thing to do as a pastime. I mean, better than drinking and getting into trouble. So, what's the favor you want? I need 2 more players to complete the team for Alcantra. We got Terence and I. Jenny got a couple of the girls on the basketball team to join, and we got a couple of football guys joining. Of course, you're joining too. Oh, am I? I tried to sound as sarcastic as possible. Of course you are. Did you organize this? Sure did. The captain of the football team had the audacity to do some shit-talking while I was around, so naturally I had to respond to his provocation. Did you really though? Yes, I really did. Nasty words were exchanged, and we put together this outing to establish local supremacy. Did you consider that the captain of their football team could put together a much better team than you can? Of course, but everyone loves an underdog story. We'll have the power of narrative on our side. You know, I don't think it works like that. You have no understanding of the human heart. We're going to be a group of ragtag misfits brought together by trust and friendship. There's no way superior athleticism can beat that. I'm pretty sure it does most of the time. Besides, we'll have me. He stuck out his chest and pointed his thumb at it. I looked at the 5'4" chubby dude in front of me. Not exactly an inspiring sight. But, well, when it came to sports, not much you could say to get through to Warburton. Alright, I'll join. So, who are you recruiting as the last member? He cleared his throat. I would like you to ask Miss Alexandria to join us. I burst out laughing. Alexandria? Really? He looked offended. Why not? You being sexist or what? I tried to roll my eyes to the heavens. Of course not, you idiot. She's pretty athletic, she'd do fine, but you think she's going to be willing to join a group of 19 people she doesn't know? I told you that she's new to this socializing thing. Which is why I have recruited you to recruit her. You see, I have it all mapped out. She joins us after a struggle, trying to convince her. In a dramatic twist of fate, the power of love overcomes all and leads us to victory. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Don't tell me you can't see the vision. I can't. He spat at the ground. Soulless, you're an empty shell. I pity Alexandria, stuck with a fool like you for her first love. Who said anything about first love? I can sense it.
Mind you, he's never met her before. Well, I'll ask her, dude, but don't be surprised if she says no. Thanks, I knew I could count on you. Don't worry, Nick. There's no way she'll ever say no to you. I don't think that's quite true. She'll probably be able to say no to us for something, but maybe she'll surprise us with this one. He turned around dramatically like the coach in a cheesy B-quality high school sports movie would. At last, we'll have the final piece. Through underdog powers, the ties of friendship, and the bonds of love, we will prevail over those accursed folk at Hamadra. I left him as he attempted what sounded sort of like an evil laugh. Aren't the underdogs usually the heroes? What a plan. The next day, I brought up the idea to Alexandria. Me? She looked at me incredulously. Don't be afraid to say no. I don't know what Warburton was thinking. Her incredulous look turned into a glare. You mean you don't think I'm up to it? Uh-oh, I could hear Warburton's accusations of sexism in my ears again. No, I meant socially. She thought about that. Oh, yeah, there'll be a lot of people there. Will I have to talk? A little, yeah. She played with her hands. Maybe I could be the ref? You know, I'm the picture of authority. No, you can't. And no, you aren't. It's okay to say no. Well, I don't want to say no, but I'm also nervous about meeting the others. To be fair, my friends are weirdos, so that's understandable. I started to say that we could do something else, but before I could, she launched into a very stupid speech. But, you know, you can't waste opportunities. That's right. It's about time we introduced me to your friends to show them how great I am. This Warburton fellow sounds like he has keen intuition. I've done quite a lot of running training over the years in the Yard of the Thorns, by myself, which was rather sad. But still, the Super Bowl game, I'd be quite suited for the capture the flag or whatever you call it portion. Yes, I'm lithe like a tiger and graceful like a gazelle. I interrupted her before she said any more stupid stuff that would embarrass her later. Is that a yes then? She stopped and gave me an irritated look for having interrupted her speech. It's a yes. I'd like to meet your friends. I accept your challenge. I didn't challenge you to anything. The challenge was implicit. I don't think it was. I shook my head, though I was kind of happy she was going to be joining us. Have to warn you though, Warburton can be a lot to handle in these sorts of situations. Who do you think you're talking to? I live with 2 probable murderers. I can handle this Warburton guy. She patted me on the back. That reasoning. I know you're trembling in your boots about the prospect of one of those strapping young athletes swooping in and taking me away from you, but we had to do this sometime. Teasing aside, she had a point. I couldn't be the only person she socialized with in Alcantra. Of course I'd like you to meet other people. Tell you what, sometime after the game, let's have you meet my parents. She took a couple of steps backwards, blushing furiously. Your parents? Isn't it a little early for getting married? Who said anything about getting married? That's what you meet parents for. Oh God, I'm supposed to ask your dad for permission. No, you're not. Isn't that my job anyway? She wasn't listening to me. I'll have to get my best dresses tailored. Please don't. You don't want me to look good? You don't need to show off for my parents. It's just, you know, a chill meeting. You look good all the time anyway. I meant that in a dismissive sort of way, but now she was blushing even harder with a pleased sort of look on her face. Oh, whatever. Wear your best clothes and tell my mother that you'll take me away. She'll be thrilled to hear it. Be careful what you ask for, Mr. Fox. I might just do that. She turned away laughing, leaving me confused as to what our plans for her meeting my parents were. At least Warburton will be glad to hear that we got our 10th member. Hopefully he'll be supportive about our apparent marriage as well. That was fast. And that's a bit of a jump, isn't it? July 5th, 1987. A couple of days later, I met up with Alexandria at our usual spot and we headed off to the park. I biked while Alexandria stood on the back. The rest of our team was carpooling, but Alexandria and I had decided we needed the time to prep. So, how are we going to introduce me? I guess as my fiancée. She gave me a whack in the head from the back of my bike. Be serious, you dummy. I mean, what are we going to do about where I'm from and my last name and things like that? Well, I doubt you'll need a last name. We'll just introduce you as my friend Alexandria. If anyone asks, we'll just say you're staying with your relatives due to some personal family issues. People generally respect privacy up here if you bring up family issues. Okay, but what if we get someone nosy? Just give them the none of your business shtick. Yeah, well, I'd rather not give them a bad impression. It'll be fine. Besides, everyone will be concerned with the Uber Ball game. They won't care who you are or where you're from, as long as you can contribute to the game. We're all good there. I'm the fastest thorn in generations. Then they'll love you. How does she know that? Generations? Cute. We crossed the bridge, marking Alexandria's first time leaving Alcantra. Alexandria didn't seem to be appreciating the novelty. She seemed kind of nervous. I figured now would be a good time to explain the rules to keep her off her mind off things. Only now? On the same day? Okay. I should explain the game we're playing. It can be a little confusing for someone playing for the first time. I explained the rules of the made-up game to her. Each team had 10 players, and those 10 players were split into 2 groups of 5. One group of 5 would be the rugby group, and the other group of 5 would be the capture the flag group. The game was usually played in locations with large open areas, which was why we were going to this specific park across the bridge. The open area would be sectioned into 2 different segments. The middle of the area would be made into the rugby field. In that area, the 2 teams used their rugby groups to compete. They tried playing football at first, but that required too much effort. The goal of the rugby group is to run the ball into the other team's end zone. You can pass the ball, but only backwards or laterally. You can't pass it forward. Of course, the appeal of the game is that you get to tackle people. You're not allowed to make contact above the shoulders, but everything else is fair game. For simplicity's sake, you get 1 point for each time you successfully carry the ball into the other team's end zone. Sounds barbaric. And isn't that just normal rugby rules? It is, and it's not barbaric. No kicking or punching, just tackling. Isn't that still dangerous? Nah, we don't have to worry about that. 1. Usually the people organizing get some people to ref this. 2. I doubt either of us will be on the rugby squad. Are you saying I'm not fit to tackle people? More like not fit to be tackled. She himphed in my ear. Jenny and Warburton will be on that team for sure, but we're going to get stumped in that department anyway, since the football players for Hamacha will be playing in the rugby section. That's where we'll come in. I explained the other part of the game. The area surrounding the rugby section of the field was for the capture the flag game. That section was divided into 2 halves. Each half had its own touchdown section, and in that touchdown section you kept a beanbag. The goal of this part was to get the opposing team's beanbag and bring it to your side. A beanbag, okay? However, if you crossed into the other team's end and got tagged, you had to sit down and couldn't move. You could only move again if you were attacked by one of your team members. If you grabbed the beanbag, you could toss it backwards or laterally to a teammate, but not forward. If you crossed back into your half with the other team's beanbag, your team got 5 points. You then give the beanbag back and restart, trying to do it all over again. The team with the most overall points, rugby plus capture the flag sections, wins. Wait, this isn't a combination of rugby and capture the flag, it's literally just a game of rugby being played at the same time as a game of capture the flag.
I just thought the same thing.
Well, yes, with a collective point total. That is so stupid. Blame the previous generation, they came up with it. And why do you still play this game? That's a good question. Probably because the people who like tackling get to do that, and the people who like running get to do that, all while still getting to feel like they're part of a large community. Speaking of running, isn't the capture the flag section way more important? Point-wise it is, but usually the capture the flag points aren't scored nearly as quickly as rugby points. You can just have people guard the outside of your touchdown and capture the flag, and it can be kind of hard to get the beanbag. Is there any strategy? There's the tricky decision of whether or not to go on the offense or defense. If you bring multiple people, you increase your chances of getting the beanbag, but if you get caught, you give the other team a much better chance of getting your beanbag, since you're stuck there. It's a risk. And we're going on the offensive, right? I usually don't. I usually guard the end zone and try to tag people who come into our half. That's the sort of cowardly tactic I'd expect from you. I had no idea what she was insinuating. So, you're all good on the rules then? How long do we play for? An hour, though we divide it into 3 different 20-minute segments with a 5-minute break between each segment. Good thing I channeled my loneliness into good fitness. Good thing indeed. It'll be pretty tiring by the end. Yeah, a whole hour of this? We arrived at the parking lot of the park. A massive open field awaited us, with Lake Superior a little behind it. On the right edge of the field was a campground, and on the left edge was a gazebo with the bathrooms and drinking fountain. I could see people assembled at both ends of the field. I spotted Warburton and decided I'd better give Alexandria a warning. Listen, Alexandria, you see the chubby dude looking like a lunatic over there? That's Warburton. He's my friend. He's my best friend. Normally, he's a cool guy, an absolute sweetheart really, but when it comes to sports, he becomes a little intense, to put it lightly. Alexandria got off the bike apprehensively. Of course you would. Competition is serious business. We headed towards the group of people. From what I could see, everyone else was already there. There was Warburton and Terence, then Jenny and 2 other girls from the basketball team. Besides them, we had 2 members of the football team who would help out with the rugby game. To round it off, we had a guy who I recognized from my trigonometry class. How did that poor guy get roped into this? I looked over at the other end of the field. Looked like our competition was going to be 5 football players, 2 basketball players from the girls' team who must have been rivals of Jenny, and 3 guys who I think were part of their cross-country team. We were going to lose the rugby section, but maybe we had a shot at winning the capture the flag games. As we approached, I began to formulate a plan to introduce Alexandria to everyone, but Warburton beat me to it.
Oh, excellent, you 2 are here now.
He hurried over and grabbed Alexandria's hand and began shaking it.
And you must be Alexandria. I'm Warburton. I've heard so much about you. You must allow me to thank you for coming to assist us today. Your athletic abilities will be most appreciated.
Alexandria shook his hand, looking a little flustered. She nodded at him. I sighed inwardly. Alexandria didn't have much experience with others, let alone a character like Warburton. I brushed Warburton off her. Chill out, dude. You're gonna freak her out. I turned to the group to introduce her to everyone. Hi guys, good to see you all. I gestured at Alexandria. This is Alexandria. She's a friend of mine. She'll be a part of our team, though this is her first time playing Yuba Ball. Alexandria nodded at the group. Hello everyone, it's nice to meet you. I hope I can help our team win today. It was very reserved for Alexandria. I was getting a glimpse of what she was like in formal mode. I glanced over at Warburton, who looked like he was getting himself ready for round 2 of introductions. To avoid another Warburton-style introduction, I took matters in my own hands. You just met Warburton. The moody, taller guy behind him is Terence. He's a friend of mine. Terence walked over and then gave me a grin that I thought looked a little evil. Nice to meet you, Alexandria. You're more normal than I thought you'd be. From what Nick has told me about you, I thought you'd be quite the weirdo. What the fuck, bro? Oh, really? Yep, I was in trouble. I gulped. Well, at least this had the benefit of breaking the ice. Nothing like setting me on fire to do that. I turned to the rest of the group. You see, everyone, Alexandria is a touch sheltered. You know, religious family troubles. You get the idea. I lightly tapped Alexandria's shoulder, though she looked like she was about to murder me now, and pointed at Terence. I'm trying to help Alexandria get acclimated with Alcantra's social etiquette, so this is a teachable moment for us all. So, repeat after me, Terence. Thou shalt not throw friends under the bus. Everyone laughed at that, and Warburton jumped in to help me out in his own misguided wingman ways. Alexandria, he has nothing but gracious sentiments to express about you. He constantly testifies to your superior intellect, charm, and grace. Rest assured, he speaks very fondly of you. He does? No, I don't. She looked at me incredulously. What do you mean you don't? Warburton looked ready to compose another impassioned speech on my behalf, but Jenny shoved him aside and introduced herself. She's the captain of the girls' basketball team and exudes a confident aura. Hi, Alexandria. Ignore these doofuses. I'm Jenny. It's good to have another girl on the team. Jenny is the type of girl to punch dudes in the face if they give her trouble in rugby. I sure am. Alexandria gave her an admiring look, and I went and introduced her to the rest of the team. Alexandria said she'd be able to remember who was who, so there wouldn't be any trouble about recognizing her teammates. We then had what Warburton called a strategy meeting to figure out who would be on what team. He, Jenny, both the football guys, and another basketball girl would be our rugby squad. That left me, Alexandria, Terence, one of the basketball girls, and my trigonometry classmate on the Capture the Flag team. While the others were talking, I asked him, Hey man, how'd you get roped into this? He gave me a glum look. Warburton has blackmail on me. Ouch. Do I want to know? Nope. I didn't ask. The refs called us over. By refs, I mean 2 girls who were part of the community drama club. I guess they must have been friends of someone here. They told us we'd be starting in 5 minutes. They made Warburton and the captain of Hamacha's football team shake hands, though both looked like they'd rather eat nails. Warburton made his way back to us. I leaned in towards Alexandria. He's going to give a ridiculous pep speech, but we can't avoid it, so just do your best to bear it. Terence groaned. It's going to be awful. Alexandria nodded and braced herself. Will she love it? Warburton cleared his throat.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming. We have gathered to defeat our enemies, our bitter rivals, the Neanderthals of Hamatra. He took a deep breath, cast aside reason, and entered his warlike state. Those bastards, they have been talking an insane amount of shit and we're not going to take it. He paused for a roar of affirmation, which didn't come, but continued undeterred. Let it be known that we of Alcantra don't speak shit, we live shit. We're going to kick their asses so bad they'll want to annex Hamatra to Canada. Sure, I know it looks bad. They got 5 football players, they got the athletes, and we have nerds plus me and the girls' basketball team. But what we have that they don't is heart. They're not going to be able to compete with our spirits, bonds, and drive. They may think we're underdogs, but we're not just dogs. We're a fucking pack. And the pack sticks up for one another. Now everyone get in here and let's go Alcantra on 3. Jenny and the basketball girls roared with him, while Terence and I rolled our eyes. His speech was dumber than usual today. I glanced over at Alexandria and gave a start. I was expecting her to be rolling her eyes, but her eyes were sparkling with an excited glimmer. Don't tell me she was moved by the drivel. She ran with the rest of the group, so I reluctantly headed over too. Groupthink is scary stuff. Come on, that's kind of fun, getting pumped up together. But yeah, Warburton's reasoning for like we're going to win because of Heart of the Cards or something, I don't know. We then headed for our positions. Unsurprisingly, Hamatra had their football team for their rugby squad. Our opposition for the Capture the Flag section was going to be the girls on their basketball team and the cross-country guys. We had to watch out for one of the cross-country guys. One of them had qualified at the state level. I evaluated our own Capture the Flag squad. I'm decently athletic. I'm pretty fast and quite agile. Terence is lightning fast, but he can't change direction for shit. We had a guard from the basketball team, so hopefully she was pretty quick. Then my trick classmate looked like he was the type to get a C in gym. Of all the dudes Warburton could blackmail into joining, he had to pick this guy. That left Alexandria, who I knew was quite athletic. You ready? She gave me a wicked smile. I sure am. Losing is for fucking losers. I think that was the first time I heard her swear. Of all the times, over a game of Yupa Ball. The refs then shouted through the megaphones they had brought with them, and the game began. Alexandria immediately took off for the other team's side. What the fuck, Alexandria? To her credit, she made it past 4 of them before she got tagged towards the end of their boundary, a little before the touchdown section. Terence looked over at me. Good luck with her, buddy. He took off for the other side as well. I couldn't believe these idiots. I looked over at my teammates. We are so fucked. Thankfully, I was able to tag Alexandria and Terence back into the game, and my teammates were able to prevent the Hamatra side from getting our beanbag. When we were all assembled on our side again, Alexandria let me hear it. Why didn't you join me, Nick? If we all went at once, there's no way they could catch all of us. Yeah, and they would get our beanbag and it would just be a race. Which we wouldn't lose. You don't know that. Alexandria walked up to me and jabbed her finger in my chest. She was way more into this than I thought. Listen, Nick, you can't get anything in life without taking risks. You can't find happiness without risking sadness, and you can't get the fucking beanbag without crossing to the other side. Complacency is cowardice, and I'm no coward. Which might have been a great speech if we weren't playing Yuba Ball. Unfortunately, my teammates besides Terence were deeply moved. Alexandria and my other teammates raced towards the other side. Terence gave me a look. Well, I'm a coward, but what they're doing seems like more fun.
I sighed and joined them, but we predictably lost the round. As we reset the beanbags after they scored, I looked over at the rugby game. Fortunately, the other half of our team were holding their own. Jenny was fighting off two would-be tacklers and making her way towards the end zone, while Warburton blocked for her. We could still get in this. We just needed our side to pull its weight. I pulled the team together. Okay, listen, you idiots. We can do this, we just have to be smarter. Terence, you be a diversion. Aim towards the beanbag and try to get as many people after you as possible. Alexandria, you follow afterwards and get the beanbag. I'll stay near the boundary. You two, stay near the end zone. If the opportunity looks good, I'll make a break for the beanbag as well. The team nodded at me and we executed our plan. Terence broke towards their beanbag, which thankfully got the fast cross-country guy to chase him. Two of their team sprinted towards our beanbag as well, which left only two for Alexandria. She could handle two. Go Alexandria, we got these two here. She gave me a thumbs up. You can count on me. She sprinted into their side. Terence got caught in their end zone, but the damage had been done. The two basketball girls couldn't keep up with Alexandria, and the cross-country guy didn't notice till it was too late. I caught one of their players and the basketball teammate caught the other. Alexandria waltzed to our side with a beanbag. See, look what we can do when we're not being idiots. I'm just new to this is all. The refs shouted into their megaphones. It was time for the first break. We gathered at one of the water fountains. We were losing 11-8 right now. That meant we were tied in the capture the flag game and losing 6-3 in rugby. Honestly, I expected a lot worse from the rugby game, so props to Jenny and Warburton. They didn't see it the same way as I did though.
Jenny, I know that I can't get this through your thick superstar head, but sometimes it's okay to pass the goddamn fucking ball.
And why would I pass to you losers? You cough that shit up instantly.
Absolutely not. Be coughing shit up. Never.
Warburton turned towards us next.
And you maggots, what the fuck is going on out there?
Warburton started ranting at us, the content explicit enough that they will not convey it here. I looked over at Alexandria, not unsurprised now that she was passionately nodding along with Warburton. Leave it to me, Warburton.
Counting on you, Alexandria. Okay, buddies.
He turned to get some water, and Alexandria turned towards me and my fellow flag capturers. Listen, you lot. We're not showing nearly enough heart out there. Life is a game of wanting, and you need to want it more. It's precious, and no second can be wasted. You need to run harder, dodge faster, grab that fucking beanbag better. Until we collapse out there, I expect 200%. We win, or we die trying, maggots. She turned around in a huff.
I shrugged at my rattled teammates. I didn't know where the side affair was coming from. As for what I thought, I'll be honest, I thought it was a little hot.
Our team came out on fire for the second period. Alexandria and Terence went charging in again, but this time I followed them and was able to get the beanbag and get back to our side. I knew you had it in you, Nick. Nice job.
Nice job being a distraction out there.
She nodded enthusiastically at me. Sacrifices have to be made, Nick. When you lose me, you must move on and claim victory.
You are such a drama queen.
I thought I was a princess, but I'll take being a queen. She laughed, grabbing the beanbag from my hand and started bringing it back. Terence saw the exchange and gave me a wink. I stuck my tongue at him. We weren't flirting. It was just some, friendly banter to upholster competitive spirit. Tell yourself that, buddy. We got the beanbag after the reset too. Amatra brought nearly their whole team while Alexandria darted to their side. With Terence playing defense, we were able to tag them all, while Alexandria easily got the beanbag. We had a pretty commanding lead now. I looked over at the rugby game where Warburton trucked over a poor dude to get into the end zone. He let out a terrifying victory roar. Pretty impressive stuff from the 5'4" guy. The Hamatra rugby team was leading, but we still had the overall lead. It was 20-16 now. Shortly after, the refs called for the second break. Our team gathered at the water fountain again. I walked up to Warburton. Pretty impressive stuff, man. Looking like Larry Sonka out there. He was covered in sweat and out of breath, but he gave me a thumbs up. That's right. I am like Larry Sonka. We're going undefeated. He pulled himself upright and roared to the heavens. I'm a dolphin, hear me roar. I hated to break it to him that dolphins don't roar, but the basketball girls, the football guys and Alexandria all cheered for him, so I kept silent. Jenny walked up to us. Okay gang, great job out there. Now all we have to do is not blow it. I'll be real with y'all. Bless Warburton for trying so hard, but he's out of shape. We'll need you guys to get one more beanbag than they do to win, since we're gonna get destroyed in this last period.
I heard that, Jenny. Don't believe her lies. I'll be... just fine.
Jenny smiled and patted Alexandria. You're amazing out there. Counting on you.
Oh, just her, huh?
Terence grunted in assent at my comment. Jenny laughed at us. We're counting on you two too. She winked at me. But I get the feeling she wears the pants around here. She ran off to give Warburton, who was being handed Gatorades by the other basketball girls, some support. Jenny knew me well, since we used to hang out a lot as kids. I take her word on it. Terence was trying to stifle a grin, but Alexandria looked at me confused. What does she mean by that? I was very grateful she was unfamiliar with the phrase. It means your legs look nice. I left her blushing to get ready for the last segment of the game. Smooth. We just needed to hang on to our lead, so I decided to hang out closer to our end zone. Unfortunately, we lost the next round because Terence tripped on the way to the beanbag and Alexandria got caught trying to tag him back in. I went to tag her back in, but the other team got our beanbag before I could do that. Alexandria had a lot of stern words for me. What were you doing tagging me instead of getting the beanbag? You know me, I can't leave my beloved friend alone in enemy territory like that. Terence scoffed.
Thanks for the rescue, buddy.
You have no sense of tactics, Nick. I appreciate your sentimental drivel, but sometimes you need to listen to reason.
Isn't that the opposite of the bullshit you and Warburton were spouting earlier?
That was then, and this is now. The tides of war change, Nick. I know you care, but sometimes you have to let me go. Which would be good and romantic if we weren't playing fucking Uber Ball. Thankfully, we were able to get the beanbag again by going all out on the offense. That put us in the lead again. But not for long. Jenny was right, our rugby squad was starting to get pounded. They had been holding out well, but were starting to get tired. It was now 31-30 in our favor. That meant in this round they were getting pounded 9-1. I gathered the team together, since we were going to need to get the beanbag one more time, and we only had a couple of minutes left. Alright, we can't rely on them holding a lead. We're going to have to get the beanbag to secure a win, and we're going to have to do it quickly. We only have about 2 minutes left. The team nodded at me. Here's the plan. They'll play defensively because they just need us to not get the beanbag to win, presuming their rugby team pulls through for them. I'll do the first rush towards the beanbag. Alexandria, you trail a little behind me, and when they gang up on me, I'll toss the bean back to you behind me. Terence, you make it look like you're joining the offensive, but hang back in case the fast cross-country guy tries to take advantage of our offensive. You're the only one who can keep up with him. You two, make a rush for it if you get an opportunity, or hold them off long enough for us to bring the beanbag back. Sound good?
You're trying to show off, but it's a good plan.
Shut up, Terence. Alexandria and I got ready at the edge of our boundary. It saddened me to think that she had never been able to do things like this before. Who knows what she could have done, how wonderful her life could have been had she been allowed to live the life she deserved. I looked over at her. You ready? She gave me a determined nod. Sure am. I sprinted towards their beanbag. I saw the cross-country kid take off towards our side, and Terence went to tail him. Okay, good. Our diversion worked. Terence would hopefully be able to stop him from getting our beanbag. It was now up to Alexandria and I. I started being pursued by a pair of the basketball girls, so I took a course to the right, going in a bit of a parabola towards the beanbag. For this to work, I needed to round the corner with a beanbag. I was going to have to rely on Alexandria putting herself in a good position for me to throw the beanbag back to her. The girls were right on my tail, but I managed to turn the corner on them. I grabbed the beanbag and made my way towards our side. I didn't have the angle I was going to need to make it to our boundary, because one of Alexandria's pursuers made to get me. But that was the plan. I looked behind me and saw Alexandria trailing behind me, going towards the left. Good, she'd only have one defender to beat. I stopped in my tracks and hurled the beanbag at her. Go, Alexandria! I got knocked over by the 3 people chasing me, but I had done my job. She caught it and raced around the girl who was pursuing her. We were going to win. Or so I thought. I saw the fast cross-country guy racing back to the side. He must have figured out our plan. Alexandria was fast, but there was no way she was going to beat him to the boundary. She'd have to get around him somehow. They approached each other at top speed. She made to go to her left and his right, and sprinted that way. He reached to attack her, and then she stomped her foot in the ground and changed direction to the right. The dude tried to change direction with her, but couldn't and fell over. I felt sorry for the dude. He got crossed up so bad he might have to retire from cross-country. I was almost proud of Alexandria, but then she started showboating by skipping across the boundary line. Moments later, the ref sounded the end of the game. We ended up winning 36-32. Won a game of Yupa Ball. Alcantra takes home the W. Warburton will be pleased. What an achievement. Also, this is such a different tone from the last scene we had in Victor's timeline last time. Extremely different. I mean, let the kids have their fun, of course, but, you know. You could probably have heard Warburton's triumphant roar from Wisconsin. The rest of the team rushed to congratulate Alexandria. As for me, well, I would have joined them, but I had eaten dirt when I got knocked over tossing her the beanbag. I figured I'd let her enjoy her spotlight, while I enjoyed my spot in the grass. I was happy about our victory, but what I was really happy about was that it was Alexandria who had won it for us. Alexandria got mobbed by the team, but she quickly pulled away and headed over towards me. Uh-oh, I guess the princess had decided I wasn't excited enough about her victory and had come to scold me. Alexandria walked up to me, a smile on her face. She was covered in sweat and obviously very tired, but there was a joyful bounce to her step. She bent towards me, brushed her hair behind her ear, and extended her hand. You know, we make a pretty good team out there, you and I. You and I, huh? There was something to that phrase I liked. Smiling, I took her hand. The Alcantra team decided to live large after our big victory and go to Dairy Queen to celebrate. It was getting late and the sun was starting to set, so Alexandria and I joined the carpools and Warburton threw my bike into the back of his car. When we got to the DQ, Warburton boldly declared that all the ice cream was on him. Alexandria whispered to me, "Maybe I should suggest paying. I am rich after all." Probably not a good idea. We wouldn't want to invite questions. Yeah, but can Warburton really afford this? Probably not, but he deserves this. Alexandria whacked me on the arm. Okay, I'll try to convince Warburton that we can all split the bill. I managed to convince Warburton we could all split the bill, and we ended up raiding the outdoor tables with a copious number of blizzards. I took a seat at the end of one of the tables with a couple of the football players who were talking amongst themselves. Everyone else was at the other table. Warburton was giving dramatic reenactments, and everyone was chiming in and laughing. Alexandria was a big hit with the group. Earlier, Jenny and Warburton had tried to recruit her to the basketball team. Alexandria, we could really use you on our basketball team. Our previous point guard just graduated. Have you ever played basketball? Nope.
No matter, I'm an excellent coach. We can't let talent like yours waste away.
Alexandria just laughed and tried to play it off. Look at how far you've come, Alexandria. It was only a month ago when we met under the lights that illuminated the summer festival, and a display of fireworks bridged the gap between us. I was glad that the Alexandria who could laugh and joke with others existed now. It was what I had always wanted for her. This is the life she should have gotten to live, and maybe now it would be reality for her. Her journey was just getting started. As happy as I was, there was a part of me that was a little sad as well. There was an Alexandria who might be gone from the world, a previous Alexandria only I knew, the mysterious, guarded and weird Alexandria, the girl who needed to use a murder as an excuse to make a friend, the girl who bravely told a boy her secret. Only I would know that Alexandria. The current Alexandria would be known to others, and that was for the best. But eventually, when the world opened up for her, she might fly away from me. I smiled to myself. How did I end up getting sentimental eating Dairy Queen? Caught up in my feelings, I didn't notice Warburton and Terence move to the table I was sitting at. Alexandria was still chatting with Jenny and the other basketball girls. The football players at my table were talking about all the great blocks and tackles they made during the game. I let them be and addressed my friends. What's up, guys? Oh, we just stopped by to give you a hard time.
You missing Alexandria?
I decided it wasn't worth trying to deny it.
Yeah, a little.
They both laughed, though it was a good-natured laugh.
Guess you're feeling a little left out then. Sorry about that.
Nah, don't worry about it. I'm just being sentimental over here. You all should get to know her. Walbert nodded enthusiastically.
It's unlike you to meet someone so cool, Nick.
Yeah, look who I've got for best friends.
No doubt about it. She's too good for our gang.
Terence clapped me on the back.
We'll let her know you're lonely over here. See if we can't pry her away from Jenny's recruiting.
Sure, you could do that. Warburton and Terence walked back to their table, where Jenny was enthusiastically talking to Alexandria about something. I went back to eating my ice cream. About 10 minutes later, while I was staring into the bottom of my now empty Blizzard cup, Alexandria tapped me on the shoulder. So, I hear you're pretty lonely without me.
Damn, they really told her that. Yeah, I was gonna say they're good friends, so clocking into that and doing something about it instead of just teasing him, but yeah, good friends.
Yep, sure am. What would I ever do without you around? She smiled at me. No need for the sarcasm. I feel bad you're being kind of left out. Don't feel bad. I talk to these folks all the time. Plus, I want them to get to know you. That's very sweet of you. She tossed a Blizzard cup into the trash behind me. Your friends have been very nice to me, though. Warburton and Jenny can be a bit much. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you're not interested in being a basketball star. I'll settle for my capture the flag glory. She sat down next to me. I took a look at the other table. They were all talking about something, but I caught a few glances our way. You know, they're probably gossiping about us. You're probably not used to that. And what would they be gossiping about? You know, you and me. She played dumb. What about you and me? I fell into that one. She and I both knew there was something between us, but I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of admitting anything here. Still, I was too late for me to just completely deny everything. Listen, Alexandria, you're unfamiliar with the nastiness of the teenage social world. They probably think we're a couple and are gossiping about us now. Probably. There's lots of things to gossip about regarding us. And what would those things be? Oh, how great we work together and capture the flag, for example. I distinctly recall you doing a lot of yelling at me. That's just how I show my love. You could show your love in nicer ways. I'll keep that in mind. I was very aware that the football guys had stopped talking, making me a little self-conscious. Alexandria patted me on the arm, the sort of casual touch that could mean nothing or everything. Well, I'll go back to the other table now. Are we still on for hanging out at your place sometime? I'd still like to meet your parents. Sure, as long as you don't give my mom any crazy ideas. Day after tomorrow, okay then? Sounds good. She gave me a smile and headed back to the other table. I did my best to ignore the football guys giving me knowing looks. Everyone else finished up their ice cream, and we all went our separate ways back to our homes. When I got home, I took a shower, listened to some music, and then laid my head down on my pillow staring at the ceiling. Alexandria wasn't the first girl in my life, but with her, it was different. It's cliché, but it was true. I'm not stupid. I knew what this feeling was. The pride watching her change over this past month, the sadness at the idea of her extending her wings and flying away from me, remembering every moment with her, from fireworks to Dairy Queen, staying awake at night thinking of her, keeping her secrets and being glad that I knew something that others didn't. The realization that I wanted her to always be a part of my life. It's more than just being interested in her. It's not just liking her. This feeling. I know it's love. There's no point denying it. I'm in love with you, Alexandria. I love your smile. I love your laugh. I love the way you tease me. And even if your smiles, your laughs, and your teases were for someone else, I'd love them all the same. With Charlotte and Jennifer, too much of it was about me and how I felt. But with you, Alexandria, it's not like that. I want you to be happy. I'm the first person in your new life, but once you spread your wings and take flight, who knows where you could go? You shouldn't chain yourself to be with me. You're too smart for me. You're too witty for me. You're too pretty for me. And because I love you, if your wings take you away from me, I'll be happy if you are. Even so, when you get to experience the world as you should have been able to before, I hope that you'll still choose me. Even knowing that you deserve better than me, I still choose to hope. I guess that's what it means to be in love. You see, Alexandria, love isn't all joy. It isn't just eating pancakes at the bar, solving murder mysteries, sunsets on cliffs, and playing ball. Being in love means risking sorrow. Maybe your family sends you away. Maybe they give you your freedom for good and you fall in love with somebody else. If something like that happened, then me as I am now, the one in love with you, might not be able to handle the heartbreak. Even still, I want these feelings. I want the chance to be with you, and I want the chance for you to break my heart. That's what it means to be in love. For all the joys of love, you have to accept the sorrows. And you're worth it to me, Alexandria. Such strong feelings like this, they're new to me. No one has made me feel like this before. I might be your first friend, maybe I'll be your first boyfriend, but Alexandria, you're one of my firsts too. You're my first love. I turned over and closed my eyes, thinking of her. Whew. Okay, kind of turning very serious there for a teenage love. But reflecting like that, haven't we all kind of done that? Okay, it might be a little short, but I think I'm keeping it here for today. I kind of don't want to get another whiplash. Because I think Victor's story, will go right back to the murder stuff, which is important. But yeah, that was kind of... we didn't talk much about any of the bad stuff today, so that's maybe a nice change. Yeah, let's keep it at that for once. Yeah, I didn't expect the game to be told so in depth. But that was kind of fun. Yeah, all those characters. Is that what small town teenage life is like? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here for today. As always, I'd appreciate if you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.